Welcome back to a best of 5 series of top level StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is a Terran versus Zerg, where in game number 1 we find ourselves on the map Ultra Love. Now spotting right here in the bottom left hand corner, joined by the Basilisk icon, spinning around on the main hatchery. We're looking inside of the main base of Reynor, and his opponent all the way in the top right. We have a little polar bear on our main command center. We have Clem. Isn't the Basilisk the animal that if you look in its eyes, it turns you into stone? Pretty sure. Don't do it, little polar bear. Don't do it, Clem. You'll be fine. Now, much like yesterday's video, this particular series is from the FEL Krakow tournament. So this particular event took place literally the day after the Esports World Cup wrapped up. So both of these players, they flew out straight from Saudi Arabia to Poland and participated in this tournament the day after. So I can imagine these guys are very sleep deprived. I can imagine they are going to be quite tired, but it's likely going to give us a nice update as well as to where they currently are at. I was super impressed by some of the Reynor games, actually. Reynor played I think a very frustrating EWC from his point of view. So I don't really want to spoil it too much because I do plan on casting quite a few of the games that Reynor did play at the Esports World Cup. So if you want to see those, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel so that you get notified as soon as those videos go live. He played some phenomenal StarCraft. And I really was impressed by Reynor, but across the board, he just barely fell short. But I think he played some of the very best StarCraft that I've ever seen from anybody, period. He just had some unlucky matchups, and I feel like there is an alternate 2025 universe out there right now where Reynor is the 2025 world champion. He really had a proper shot at getting the job done, but I hope for his sake that he's not too frustrated by it. I actually saw he was streaming some League of Legends the other day. That's not a good sign, eh? What do you do when you notice your friends are maybe in a very frustrated state of mind and the next time you see them live? Or maybe you see them on Steam or whatever launcher you see they're playing League. Oh no. Save a friend. Save a friend, okay? Maybe ask how they're doing when you see they're queuing up a game of ranked solo queue League of Legends. Alright, anyways, couple Reapers coming across the map here for Clem. Ready to rub some salt in the wound. And actually, he's doing a good job here with them as well, getting a lot of value out of just these first couple units. It's going to be a triple Reaper opener, right? So, yeah, follow-up is just going to be that good old Terran bio. Ooh, nicely done. One of the strategies we saw a lot at the EWC this year was a heavy focus on Cyclone mech. So, Cyclones are currently, well, the hippest flavor of the month. You know how, like, the TikTok girlies are all drinking their, like, matchas and you know, they get all, like, the strawberry stuff and all the squeezed fruits or whatever, and I don't know what they're doing. But basically, the StarCraft equivalent of that is the Cyclone right now. It's what all the hippest Terran players are going for. Clem included too, by the way. It's considered an overpowered build order across the board. But somehow, some way, we don't see it as frequently as you would imagine. It's kind of odd. Like, everybody is talking about the Cyclone as if it's horribly overpowered and nobody can ever win against it, and everybody's very tilted about it. I don't know exactly if it's just like a gentleman's agreement. Reynor especially has been quite vocal about how much he hates playing against that unit. But then, I mean, some people do play it against him, but I feel like not nearly as frequently as you would imagine. Like, if I knew, right? If I was a competitor and I knew that pressing that specific button would mentally frustrate my opponent the most, I would be pressing that button all of the time. Maybe that's because I'm a bad person. I don't know. Maybe that's why I have no friends. I don't know. But, no, that's not true. But you know, I would do it. I would do it 100%. Maybe that's why I don't compete in our cast games instead. You know what they say, right? Those that can't play, cast. And those that can't cast, watch, maybe? And those that can't watch, they listen. which I think is actually the majority of my quote-unquote viewers. I'm fairly sure that the majority of people that enjoy these StarCraft matches are probably doing something else on a second monitor. I would not be surprised at all. Although I know there are some of you out there that will be full screening these casts, and they are, you know, putting everything away. I can't come down to dinner right now because the new Loco video went live, right? Like, yeah, that's, you know, there's people like that out there too, which is pretty sick. Anyways, and then there's guys that have frustrating tournament results and decide to play League of Legends. It's a crazy thing. Maybe there's people out there playing League of Legends right now while watching this. Clem going across the map right now since he does have Stimpack done. Combat shields not too far behind. Nice little Zergling run by over here though, really taking the wind out of the sails of Clem. Those Zerglings are going to be home in time as well for defense. Ooh, Medevac a little overly ambitious. Let's see. +1/+1 coming up here for the Terran player. Medevac production will begin as well. Reynor is hiding a 4th base all the way in the far bottom right. And this is something that we've seen before. Technically a pretty easy base for the Terran to attack into. But it's become so normal for Zergs to take their base over here that a lot of Terran players almost go a little bit on autopilot. Especially maybe when they're sleep deprived, you know? Like, you go a little bit onto autopilot and you don't even really think about this particular expansion. Now Clem sees indeed that it is going to be one that the Zerg player can take. But is it still possible for him to address it? I think if he would have gone straight over here, yes. Right now, though, this hatchery, while not really quite secure, it's up. And, you know, with some creep spread, with some banelings, I mean, it is going to be doable, I think, for Reynor to continue defending it too. Clem, though, has still got his army out there, and he's rallying in the reinforcements in this direction too. Now he is taking the other base on the other side of the map. So at least that will be an alternative if this one does end up falling. Reynor, though, sitting at 69 workers. He's more than prepared to layer on the aggression, but these siege tanks, oof. I love the siege tank positioning over there. I wonder if you can put one over here. One siege tank over here, one over on the watchtower. I mean, kind of feels like a banger to me. In the meantime, there is a Zergling run by 2 on the other side of the map. There's one tank up on the high ground. 5 SCVs go down. Hatchery here in the bottom right also does fall. Queens maybe a little bit overly exposed as one of them does fall despite being transfused. The transfuser also died though, and that is going to be the end of the Queens. Nice movement here by Clem. Showing us how you are supposed to deal with all of it. He did take a bit of SCV damage, but really not too much. 7 queens, by the way. That's a lot. That's a lot of queens going down. Still, the economy here of Reynor is still at a very nice 69, right? And it is going to give him an income advantage. Clem is sitting on an 8 Rex all in. This is effectively a strategy where Terran wants to win the game. It does have transition potential, but oh no, oh no, oh no. Clem not paying attention. Taking a page out of Hero's book. Oh no, suddenly, when it rains, it pours, man. No wall off on top of the ramp. Zerglings get into the main base, and the 3rd base in the natural. That now means that, well, this fight over here needs to be a game-winning shove. Banelings, though, are going to be difficult to stop as Reynor is just rolling them all around. Siege tank can end up falling, and in the meantime, the Zerglings are still destroying everything. This was looking like Clem's game to lose, but Reynor has managed to flip it upside down. Great movement here by the Italian. Wow. That creep spread really helping him out a ton. Yeah, I don't think you can really recover. 30 or 27 SCVs go down. Only 34 remain right now. Great movement here by Reynor. Actually very impressive. It's so sketchy when you're just about to be attacked by the Terran army to think, okay, perfect moment to send about 80% of my army to the other side of the map, right? Like, that feels incredibly counterintuitive. But Reynor has been doing that his entire career, and honestly, he's better at it than anybody else. Those Ling run-bys that he goes for, they are just the right level of crazy. Command center itself is going to burn down. Oh no. 10 HP. We need an SCV. Oh! The command center falls, and with it, Clem decides to tap out. Next up, we find ourselves on good old Persephone. Clem, what are you doing? Where are we going? We're gonna build some barracks on the other side of the map? Really? Like the most aggressively positioned version of this build as well? That's right outside of the natural. I mean, I guess technically the most aggressive version would be like right over here. That would also be the most stupid version of it, but I would love to see it. They actually used to be proxy barracks that Terrans would do behind the mineral line, so like right over here. It was very common. So back in the day, Zergs actually have kind of switched up their second Overlord timing a little bit. They used to always build it at the same moment, at 13 supply. Now it's technically a little bit later. Anyways, back in the day, Zergs would usually park their Overlord in the natural early on just to like see if there was like incoming shenanigans. But very frequently, look, with this Overlord path right here from Reynor, he will likely not see this section right behind, you know, the gas geysers, or sometimes right behind the mineral line. Kind of depends on the map layout, but sometimes the most obvious location is actually the one that is the most hidden. Anyway, it is going to be a triple Rex all-in with one of the barracks trailing a little bit behind. A triple Rex all-in is effectively, well, like I said, an all-in. A 2 Rex all-in is very recoverable. If Clem can see that indeed this is... Or if Reynor rather can see that this is indeed a 2 Rex all-in, he might get the wrong info. But he's already pulling SC... Or he's already pulling drones. He's got a spine crawler coming up right now too. Using the drones right now for fighting. He did corner one of those Marines, not bad. Losing a lot of drones in the process though. It's a messy engagement. But the drones do hit pretty hard. The bunker is not gonna come up. Eventually a spine crawler will finish. Now their Zerglings already out. Even though there's a lot of damage taken here on the side of the Zerg, I think this is fine. Terran is so committed, right? So you see currently like the worker advantage that Clem has. Normally, being 5 workers up at this, well, near 3-minute mark is huge, right? Like that would almost be game ending, but what exactly does Clem have as a follow-up? Well, he can continue making Marines. He can fly these barracks back home and maybe start up a command center or something, but none of this is particularly good for him. And in the meantime, Reynor, he is just building up the workers. A perfect example as to why, even when you don't scout it, the triple Rex push is not very popular anymore in 2025. I would like to see it a little bit more again, if I'm being honest with you, but I'm also very hesitant to suggest any buffs to that particular attack, because we are one little buff away from that being the only strategy we will ever see in the matchup. You can't repair structures that are not finished. All right, he does finish the supply depot. It's very map dependent too, right? Persephone is not a terrible map for it, but not necessarily the best in the last couple years. I love this, by the way. A slow push with the creep tumor and then also the spine crawler. It's kind of clever. Spine crawlers do a lot of damage. Yeah, and Reynor is just chilling. He's really just droning. He did obviously lose a lot of Zerglings here in the process. 13 drones though, or sorry, 13 Zerglings for 13 Marines is a very good trait, and look at that. I love it. Reynor snuck out a drone. Clem didn't see it. I didn't see it either. But he snuck out a drone. Looking at the path on the minimap, it looks like it went on the right side. Look, Clem is going to be able to transition out of this. He can wall, he can defend, he can build bunkers and all the rest of it. But it's difficult for him to really deal any damage out on the map. So while he's still sort of running around using the healing shrine over here, he really doesn't have an easy opportunity to deal damage to an opponent's third. So Reynor is likely going to be able to get this going, and he even indeed transfers drones. Technically, this right here is insanely greedy because it takes so long. So every second that a worker is not mining, you lose about 1 mineral. A little less, but give or take 1 mineral. And this takes forever. Eventually, though, they're gonna get to the gold base. And assuming you can mine from it long enough, you can make up some of that deficit. So the golden minerals, they return 7 minerals a trip. Blue minerals return 5. So you can do the math. I'm not gonna do it. But there's gonna be a bit of a dip in over here initially. There's the dip for Reynor. And now he's gonna start pulling ahead. Bailing nest on the back of this too, okay. Looks like one of the barracks got killed by the queens. Clem is still thinking about being the aggressor, but he needs to be extremely careful. He did, by the way, go double factory, triple factory even. So we're gonna be going Cyclone Hellion here, but I mean, I don't know about it now, man. If Reynor has any plan to be aggressive, I think this would be a perfect opportunity for him to go for a Baneling bust. Still, if the blue flame upgrade finishes up, if the Cyclone lock-on ability upgrade finishes up, I mean, Clem does have an opportunity to hold again. And this does seem to be a slightly overpowered strategy on the side of the Terran right now. Man, so risky, right? Like, Clem could just drive those units into the third, and it'd be hard to achieve much. Link speed now is available, though, and so is the green zone, so Reynor using those accelerations to immediately run across the map. Oh, here we go. Cheeky little Baneling bust. Well, that's one thing you can always tell of any Zerg player, right? All Zerg players love busting. Is there enough, though, here for this Zerg player to also defend at home at the same time? Oh my god, well, maybe... No, Clem! Clem! Stop taking advice from Protoss players, dude! You're supposed to have a door! Oh, no. Close your eyes, Terrans. I think things are just about to get dirty. Well, I mean, he's still making the best out of a very bad situation. Blue Flame is real nice here. Interestingly enough, even after losing 17 SCVs, the worker count is still not looking terrible here for Terran at all. Problem is, he is not done just yet. Reynor? Yeah. Not the best bust. Yeah, and honestly, as the dust settles, as the bust settles, haha. Oh, careful, careful. Never mind. 10 additional SCVs go down. That's a lot. Yeah, okay, no, this justifies all of it. I think before that additional group ran in, because we still, for some reason, hadn't re-walled, I think right before that point, triple command center. Like, only like a 10 worker deficit or so. Very recoverable for Terran. Especially with Cyclone Mech. Right now, though, 24 workers. Literally half the workers here. Well, not literally, but... pretty much half the workers of the opponent. Golden minerals as well coming in for Reynor. If Clem could somehow bring this back, that would be phenomenal. But I think this is going to be a extremely difficult job to achieve. Nice around here as well in some of those units. So currently the lock-on ability of the Cyclone is bugged. The cooldown is too short. There's also technically a bug with its upgrade, but that one doesn't seem to be too relevant. Now Clem, though, does find out about the gold base, and... yeah, I think it's a little too late for him to really properly address it. Still, though, dude, these Cyclones and Hellions are not to be underestimated. They just deal so much damage. Oh my god. Trying to micro in a speed circle? Not easily done. And as the drones get in on the battle too, Reynor cleans up the last of the aggression here for now. A couple reinforcements do show up. Spinecrawler is actually a great idea. Love the idea of a Spinecrawler here. A Spinecrawler on the intersection. One of the last things you want to see in the middle of an intersection, I can tell you that much. Clem hoping that maybe, okay, he can drive into the natural, but that's not going to happen. Next up, we find ourselves on torches. It's, of course, the map with the skinny golden mineral fields here that lead towards a triangle base setup, and also a gold a little bit further up north. Okay, Reynor apparently has had a taste of gold. Very nice. Clem, though, doesn't like it as much. You know, sees indeed that somehow there's an open base here, and then he sees that the third wasn't built over here. Oh, no. Clem, he didn't just mine it open just to, like, take the third. He took the third right over there. Maybe we should take the blinders off of the SCVs when they leave the base, man. They're not horses. Couple Zerglings here are going around. If Clem actually has a significant misread here and he doesn't realize the gold base is up, that would be a problem. You know, when you think about it, vision for units in general in this game is really odd. Like, why can they only see so far in front of themselves, but also they can see perfectly behind themselves? That's a little weird. Zergling, though, slips into the base. Ooh, nice little bit of SCV control. Problem is, this SCV needs to be controlled. Clem, though, bringing that Reaper all the way back because of those Zerglings. He hasn't really checked this location in a while. He hasn't checked the low ground location in a little while. So he's making the assumption, with him blocking the base over here, that one of those two bases is taken. If he sees right now that indeed they are not taken, because it's the gold, okay, now he finally figures it out. He might have been putting his opponent on a 2-base. 2-base all-ins are kind of odd from Zerg in 2025. We see like Muta play every once in a while. Now, though, he sees indeed that the golden minerals are going to be mined here in just a moment if Reynor is given a chance. Reynor, though, has decided to wall himself in. So, double evolution chamber with a Roach ward. A little bit odd, a little bit strange. We really need to get some creep going in this section. Oh, I think he's purposely actually leaving a unit over here so he can prevent the run-by. Yeah. So maybe the hatchery is just bait? There wasn't enough creep yet to put the Evo chamber in the perfect spot. There we go. Huh. So wait, what are we now doing on the back of this, Reynor? What are we... Is this actually good for you? I guess one thing he can hide here is these two gases. Is he just doing a Roach all-in? This could literally just be a Roach all-in. It's a lot of Roaches. Now he transfers drones. Clem, by the way, did mine out the minerals of his own too, so even though he's making a wall off over here on top of the main ramp, he's got a giant backdoor. Nobody wants to have a giant backdoor. It's a very odd little way of walling off. Kind of like it, though. Maybe we can make another spine crawler over here, or maybe we can at least send the drones to mining. Oof. Big mistake there, actually, from Reynor. Those were probably chilling for like a good 10-15 seconds. Oh, he's even bringing drones right now to open up the wall. Yeah, he now sees that it's already been opened up. He brought drones for the back door, but found that the back door was already open. That's crazy, man. StarCraft's a very dirty game. Lair now on the back of this. So what makes me a little bit confused here is just that, like, this seems to be leading. So Reynor has built up this entire early game, but it's not really leading to anything. It's very much so I am going to try and survive, and now I've survived. Great. What do I do, right? Like, it's a bit funky. The debris over here. So these are the tentacle rocks. They're slowly being... they're losing HP over time, so these break by about, like, minute 8. They put these rocks in, I believe, for the anime fans. That's what I've been told, anyways. Anime fans, huge fans, of course, of tentacles. Like the siege tanks over here. It's actually a really cool mechanic, like, all memes aside. The rocks that bleed out over time are really fun. Yeah, it's a bit ambitious here with the Hellions now. Not likely to really achieve much. So exactly what does Clem have at this point, right? So Clem, he doesn't have a third command center. So he is effectively now, because of this weird early game from Reynor, been put into a 2-base all-in. Look at this, dude. It's much like a Protoss player leaving a probe on hold position in PvP to like build up a supply depot to block the ramp. It's very funny to see like a Zerg on idle as well. Oh, Clem has decided to engage this with a slow push, bringing a SCV as well to build a bunker. What a weird game of StarCraft, but honestly very well executed from both players. We're playing an actual strategy game. How crazy is that? It's not just about fast execution anymore. It's now actually about thinking and trying to out-strategize the opponent. Which, when you think about it, in a lot of games of StarCraft, really isn't necessarily the case. Oh my god, we're bringing a boys. I kind of love it. I kind of love it. It's a tight choke over here. It'll be difficult for Reynor to hold onto this position. SCVs go back home. Let's go. I love it. So this base is pretty much already dead. Roach is, though, thinking about going in for the surround. I wouldn't mind seeing Reynor take a hatchery over here. Like a follow-up hatch. Okay, he's taking the one over here instead. Maybe that's even better. These Roaches actually could put in a lot of work. Roach speed at this point is finished. So is the +1 armor. Terran has got the combat shields also done. One cheeky little bunker to try and save everything. Maybe salvaging it is not a terrible idea at this point. These Roaches, though, have me a little bit worried. Not again, Clem. Not again, Clem. Clem's been so busy studying those hero replays, and he now believes that one of the key ways to play really good in StarCraft is to leave your bases wide open and undefended. Can I still be roasting hero even in games that he's not in? I don't know, dude. I'm like the #1 hero fanboy, but it's hard to be a fan of hero sometimes. 26 workers fall though due to this catastrophic error here from Clem. And I think this is a little bit of that sleep deprivation kicking in, because those are not mistakes he normally makes. Reynor, though, is on a path to victory right now. Honestly, a brilliant game. Like, this entire game has been fantastic. Very intelligently done here by both players. But I really like what Reynor has cooked up here in particular. He's probably going to get cleaned up here eventually, but I mean, 16 workers remain here for Clem. There's a new third base for Reynor. There's one little larva. Leave that little larva alone, Clem. Don't be a jerk. Oh, okay. Apparently Reynor also decided that indeed is the case. Yeah, we can do a marine drop, but it's really not that many marines. Reynor using his reinforcements to deal with exactly that. Well, it's a 3-0 win for Reynor. I know it's become a bit of a running joke on the channel, man. I've seen this recently, actually. Anytime I cast a Reynor series on YouTube, people are immediately predicting in the YouTube comments that Reynor is going to lose. Reynor is one of the very best players in the world. Somehow, some way, though, in like 80% of the series that I upload, he seems to not be the victor. But you know what? Today is different. He won 3-0 over the world's #1 Terran.